It is a fundamental neuroscientific fact that people of different political ideologies have physical differences in their brains that prevent them from coming to consensus on certain issues. And there's a very common video game mechanic in many strategy games that we can use to help untangle this problem. The issue we have in the modern political environment is that there is functionally an infinite number of facts that have potential relevance to any given political problem. And the problem isn't that people deny some facts or others, it's that they literally don't see the facts to begin with.
Well, people say, well, the person on the other side of the ideological continuum has different opinions than I do. It's like, no, they don't. Or maybe they do. But they don't see the same facts, because the filter they use to select from among the infinite number of available facts preferentially presents them with the facts that are relevant to them. And so one of the horrible things about political discussions is that you're actually having a discussion about what the facts are. And you say, well, the facts are the same for everyone. It's like, yeah. It's like saying, I have an infinite library of books, and you can come into it. It's like, well, you're going to pick out the same book? It seems highly improbable. And that's the problem with facts. It's like, there's a lot of them.
If you have a certain worldview, and conservatives have one worldview and progressives have a very different one, if you have a certain worldview that doesn't allow you to see the facts, you won't see them. And the reason is very simple. In general, when you perceive something comes into your eyes, you have about a tenth of a second before it becomes conscious, and it will change in that tenth of a second to fit what you already know or believe. But the frames that frame the facts are part of your brain. They're physical. All ideas are physical. They're in your brain. When they come in, that part of your brain is not going to change. So you have lots of people in this country who have conservative worldviews, and, they just don't see it. It's not like they're denying it. It's not like I know that fact and I'm going to deny it. It's like it's not even a fact.
Now, within the strategy game genre, there's a very common mechanic that has to do with the map that you use to play the game. In Age of Empires 2, it's a mini-map in the corner. Hi everyone, we're going to go to a quick ad break real quick. In Cities Skylines, there are different lenses to see the different functions of your city. And in Europa Universalis 4, you play on a large map of the world. Notice how in each of these games, you can select different lenses while looking at the same map. You can have a map that shows only military units, or one that excludes military units and only shows resource locations. You can have a lens that shows zoning areas, electrical consumption, or the degree to which residents have access to schools and educational institutions. Even though you are looking at the same physical space every time, the lens that you use to observe the map will make you blind to some facts and more sensitive to others. This is directly analogous to how conservatives and progressives literally see a different set of facts. Anytime you see two people on opposite sides of the political spectrum arguing over some issue, you should imagine two different mini-maps over either person's head, predisposing them to see one set of facts over another. Take an issue like January 6th. As soon as I say the words January 6th, people who are of a conservative temperament will have one image come to mind, probably of the Capitol Police calmly letting protesters into the building, while in the minds of many progressives and probably most apolitical people, January 6th invokes the images of the rioters breaking into the Capitol building. Both of these images are facts, but depending on what filter you have in your brain, the moment I say the word January 6th, you will unconsciously recall one set of facts and bring those to the forefront of your mind over another. This same dynamic can be seen for our understanding of historical narratives. For example, many conservatives hold Ronald Reagan up as a hero, and they will point to several facts about him to reinforce this narrative. He presided over a huge growth in GDP, played a significant role in ending the Cold War, and was popular enough that he won a landslide re-election. All of those things might be facts, but if you had a progressive lens, you would see a whole different set of facts about Reagan, like how he increased the federal debt, participated in the Iran-Contra scandal, and completely failed to address the AIDS crisis. Philosophers like Slavoj Žižek identify this same filtering mechanism, and he uses the metaphor of glasses that people wear to filter the world of facts through. He calls it ideology, but recognizes its inherent and spontaneous nature.
This precisely is the ultimate illusion. Ideology is not simply imposed on ourselves. Ideology is our spontaneous relationship to our social world, how we perceive its meaning, and so on and so on.
So given that this is how people's minds are wired, what does this tell us about how to approach the divisive political landscape? For me, there are two key insights that shape my thinking on this. First, most arguments between people of different political ideologies are pointless, because when you have two different maps, it just leads to people talking past each other and it's completely unproductive. The debates that are most likely to yield fruitful information are debates between people who have similar maps. If you want to be tuned into the conversations that have the most leverage in affecting the trajectory of politics and culture, you should pay attention to debates between Christian nationalists and moderate Christians, or moderate liberals and hardcore leftists. Secondly, we can identify productive areas of research by identifying the points at which different maps overlap and intersect. For example, a growing movement on the new right argues for a greater centralization of power under the president, using terms like dictator and monarch. People like Curtis Yarvin push this idea and are directly influencing people like J.D. Vance. And the model that people like Curtis Yarvin use as the style of political power they want to emulate is FDR, the person that most progressives would regard as the greatest president of all time.
You've probably heard of a man named Franklin Delano Roosevelt.
Yes.
I do a speech sometimes where I'll just read the last 10 paragraphs of FDR's first inaugural address, in which FDR essentially says to the American people, hey, Congress, give me absolute power or I'll take it anyway. So, did FDR absolutely actually take that level of power? Yeah, he did.
Solving political polarization means looking out at the infinite landscape of facts and identifying which ones are going to have the most relevance for people of opposing ideological predispositions. Getting those facts right then equip you to contend with either side more effectively. So over the next couple weeks, be on the lookout for some videos doing deeper research into whether or not FDR and people like him were actually the monarchs that people on the new right claim him to be. Until then, I encourage you to check out my Patreon for access to members-only videos and a very lively and productive Discord discussion server. In the meantime, good luck and Godspeed.